So some of you know this about me and some of you don't, but I got really depressed in my mid-20s. Life was going fine, graduated college, and then I got into a really long funk. I don't know what to do, I don't know where to move, what kind of job to find. I was unemployed, moved back in with my parents, longer than it's socially acceptable, and in general, the first couple years of my 20s were one long shitty mood. Now in today's video, I want to share with you guys a little bit about what I did to overcome that. What's up guys, Alex Hine here, author of Master the Day. So the first thing that I would ask myself during this long ass funk was, is it a today funk or is it a perpetual funk? So sometimes it's just day to day, you don't want to do whatever you're doing right now. Like you don't feel like doing it, whether it's work or school or shooting a video or going to the gym. But there's a big difference between not doing one particular thing and not wanting to do everything. So the first thing is I would really take time to differentiate. Am I just doing something I don't want to do right now? Am I just tired? Am I just having one off day? Because one off day is normal, even for really happy, really fulfilled people that have never had any kind of depression in their life. But compare that to a string of off days or a string of off months, that's something different altogether. And so the first thing for me was, if I'm going about my day and I don't want to go to the gym and I'm like, okay, well, is this just an off day or is this just an off hour? Do I not want to just do the gym right now because I'm tired, I didn't sleep enough? Or have I said that for like 3 or 4 days? Because if I said it for 3 or 4 days, that's not a good sign and that means something else is up that I need to start investigating a little bit more. So the second thing I would do is look into my crystal ball, so to speak. When I just finished recording my second book, the audiobook, Milk the Pigeon, a field guide for anyone lost in their 20s, you can check it out there. One of the things I realized is that very few of us ever sit down to think about what we actually want from life. So for me, on some of these worst days, I would actually take the time to sit down and write out all the cool things I wanted to do. Now, if you know me, you know that I'm a big fan of goals, I'm a big fan of envisioning the stuff you want to create. And I would just take the time to research all the interesting things I wanted to do. I would put it together. You could do it like a traditional woo-woo vision board, or just have it in a little booklet that you flip through every morning. And for me, the belief of goal setting, the belief in visualization is in my own life because I believe that if you think about things enough, there's no way you can't change your habits even a little bit just to try and make that a reality. So I would put together things like, one day I want to own an apartment in Paris. Or one day I want to be able to have the work I love and have enough free time that I can take a vacation every 3 months. Just a 10-day vacation to a new country, right? So if you think about that, I have to be making a certain amount of money and be my own boss to have that kind of freedom. And then I would talk about the kind of girl I wanted to date, the kind of woman I want to marry. I would write down where I would want to live and eventually what I would want my day-to-day life to look like hour by hour, where I wake up and I see patients, I'm still shooting videos like this, I'm writing a lot more books, I'm going out and I'm hosting expeditions to Asia and South America and Europe to find mystics and monks. I wrote down all of this because if your life is in the shitter right now and you really are not happy and you're not reaching the goals you want and stuff is just not working, then sometimes just viewing the vision of what you want is enough to get you a little bit motivated just to make that one day happen. I've already shared what I do in the morning, especially during those worst years of my life, but this is something I would definitely consider as well. The third thing is to remember the story of Ma's horse. So studying Chinese medicine, being heavily influenced by spirituality, there's a story of a Chinese farmer with his son, and one day one of the horses runs away. And he's like, oh man, what bad luck. Like, that sucks, you lost your horse, that's so expensive, it's a big piece of your property. And he's like, well, could be good, could be bad. Like, I don't know, we'll see, time will tell, right? A couple days later, the horse comes back and it brings back with it a few wild mares. All the villagers are like, oh, you're so lucky, blah, blah, blah. Farmer is like, well, I don't know, we'll see, could be good, could be bad. A couple days later, the farmer's son is on the horse, he gets kicked off and he breaks his leg. The farmers are like, all the villagers are like, oh, so bad luck. This sucks for your son, he broke his leg. And then a couple days later, the army comes and they take all the males in the families there to put them in the army. So all the villagers are like, oh, you're so lucky your son was spared. And he had this broken leg, now he's spared, like what good fortune. And the moral of the story is, You don't know right now what is a blessing or what is a curse. You really don't know, because for me, those awful depressed years gave me the fire to produce what I've produced now in my life. And it wasn't without, if I never had those really hard years, I would never have 1% of this emotional, like that visceral fire you sometimes feel in the video that is driving me every day. It's that fire from those worst years that's put me here and will put me wherever I continue to be, which is hopefully continually up. And the fourth thing is, if you're having a really bad day and you don't know if it's a day or if it's a month or if it's a year, just force yourself. I know this sounds like the last advice you want to hear in the world, but the thing is, the previous generations before now, your parents and your grandparents had it way harder. My grandpa was digging in trash cans in an alley to eat food during the Great Depression. I promise you, his life was a million times harder than mine. And yet, our generation today has the guts to bitch and moan about how hard life is, when they can click a button and have access to all of the knowledge in the world, in the history of the world. And yet we still bitch and moan. So the fourth thing is, sometimes you just have to push yourself, because if you don't want to do anything, then force yourself to anyway. If it's one bad day, who cares? Just push yourself. Tomorrow it'll be gone. And if it's not one bad day, then maybe you need to sit down and analyze what's really behind it, because there's definitely a deeper issue there. Like treating a symptom, one bad day would be a symptom, but the illness, so to speak, is much deeper than that. So I hope that helps. That's how I personally deal with those bad days, especially if they've been strung along for a long time. But before you go, I want you to leave a question or a comment right there below. Let me know for you, what's one thing that has worked for you when you're just dealing with a bunch of crappy days? Hey guys, it's Alex. Did you like this video? If so, there are really two ways you can stay in touch with me. The first thing is to go over, click the monk, and subscribe so you get the next video right when it's out. I'm releasing at least 3 videos per week, but often a lot more. The next thing is, come on over and check out my book, Master the Day. It's called Master the Day, Eat, Move, and Live Better with the Power of Daily Habits. And it's all about the tiny daily success habits that I learned interviewing people that lost over 100 pounds and kept it off years later in a healthy way. The success habits that not only get your dream body, but also your dream life. And as a special thank you, if you get the book, send me your receipt to alexander@modernhealthmonk.com. I'll send you a 1-hour bonus video course for free, and one important piece of it is an hour sit-down success story with my friend and my student Mike, who lost 30 pounds. So you can go check that out on Amazon right there. The next thing is, come on over to my site, modernhealthmonk.com. I've got a free guide for you there, 5 daily habits to help you lose your next 20 to 30 pounds. And otherwise, I look forward to seeing you soon.